Welcome back to ZK1 Plays, where today we're going to be going over a follow-up to last week's guide, and this one is how to duplicate items or materials inside of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Let's get right into it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. A like or a subscription goes so far to help me out in growing my channel, so thank you so much. And now, as we get into it, I do want to point out this is usable in the latest patch of the game, 1.2.0, so it should be usable today if you're watching it upon release. Okay, let's get right into it. You can see I came back here to the Shrine of Awakening just to show you a really simple location where you can do this. And as you can see, the materials that I'm going to show you are what you need to do this option. And so you can pretty much find these materials anywhere, or you can add them to your auto build to be able to do this. But here's the key thing to note about duplicating materials here, and that is that from using this type of method, you're only going to be able to duplicate items of which you only have one in your inventory, okay? I'll show you more specifically what that means here in a moment, but you're not going to be able to duplicate something that you already have like 99 or 120 of. You have to kind of whittle down your inventory to have one left and then begin to duplicate. And there's a way to get around that if you have like, 5 or 6, but I'll show you here in just a moment how it works. So follow the Shrine of Awakening to the end, and then we're going to leap from this, but we're going to go to the right, and the place that we want to be is we want to be at the location where the gachapon machine is, where you can buy Zonai devices. Okay, so we're going to land right there. I'm going to dive right over this way. Here we go. Hit your paraglider or whatever you can to make sure you don't die. And here's the materials that we're looking for. Okay, it's these pieces of wood here. What I'm going to do is move this one to be flat, just like so, and then I'm going to take this square one, the taller one of the two, and we're going to stand it up straight and make it look like an L, or I don't know what other shape that would look like, but you want it perpendicular like that, okay? Now, we need to select the item that we want to duplicate, okay? As I mentioned before, it needs to be an item that you only have one of in your inventory, and so unlike the older patches where you can just infinitely duplicate stuff and you can go, get 20 of them to spawn in and then just pick them all up and then do it again. In this case, really, we're limited on duplicating up to about 20 of these items, okay? And here exactly how is how it's going to work, okay? So let's try this hardy radish. We'll let that be the item that we're going to duplicate. So go to my type, and then I'm going to look for this hardy radish, of which I only have one. There it is. And then, and another quick note, you cannot use this method to duplicate items that will explode upon impact, okay? Always throw down a hard save just in case. All right, and then what I'm going to do is take off my clothes. I'm going to take off my clothes so that you can have a little bit better of a look at exactly how these mechanics are working and exactly like how the method works, okay? Remove our items too. All right, after further experimentation, you do need the shorter piece of wood to make sure that you have the correct angle here. All right, so it's going to look like this. And now you can see it's a direct fall. It's not near as tall of a fall. Okay, just as I mentioned before, we're going to take our hardy radish and hold it like we're going to throw it. And then we're going to walk forward and open our quick inventory after we drop off the edge. And then we will drop the hardy radish as we fall. Okay, so here's what it looks like. And there you go. There's one hardy radish on the ground, and there's one in my hand. So I'll toss the one in my hand this direction, okay, and then pick up the one I just created. All right, and now you can see we have 2 hardy radishes instead of 1. So we're going to do the same thing. But this time you're going to have to go to the end of your inventory because you just ran out of hardy radishes, and now that hardy radish should be at the bottom of your inventory. However, you only have to do this one time. Okay, so now that you're at the bottom of your inventory, you can stay there the rest of the time because the hardy radish will continue appearing down here. Okay, here we are at the hardy radish, and drop off in the air, click the drop button, and there we go. Another one on the ground. Toss this one over here. Perfect. Hardy radish back in my inventory. I'm now up to 3 hardy radishes. Do the same thing. Select the hardy radish, jump off, drop one. Oh, so that happens sometimes. The you can't take that out now just means that the timing wasn't exactly right, or maybe you like weren't quite still in the air. But you can keep trying and it will happen. So there's the hardy radish. Toss that one over there. And now I'm up to 4 total hardy radishes. Now, why do you say that you can only limit this to 20? Well, limiting it to 20, that is the amount of items that can be spawned on your screen at any one time. And so after about, 16, 18, it's going to start despawning these radishes in order to spawn in the new ones that you're duplicating, okay? And so you really can only go up to about 20, but for most items, that's sufficient. You can usually have what you need for 20, even if you need to like duplicate up to 20 and then go spend some and then come back. Like for instance, diamonds. I had a habit of during my my last playthrough, going and not my last playthrough, but during the last duplication process, I had the habit of just duplicating up to like 90 diamonds, right? And when I duplicated up to 90, go and sell like 20 of them, and then I just have like 70 in my inventory. Well, that's not really going to be available to you now. If you weren't duplicating in that previous patch, you're basically going to have to start from 1 and go to 20. All right, just in that last few minutes as I was giving you some commentary, you see I've gone up to 7 hardy radishes, okay? That is an incredibly useful duplication method, and the reason is because, like, for instance, if you are wanting to make all of the champion weapons by getting diamonds, all you're going to have to do is have 1 diamond, then you can use this little drop and throw mechanic to make it where you can duplicate that item up to 20, and then sell them or use them. But as you can see, I just did that duplication method while having more than 1 in my inventory, and it did not net me any radishes. And so, like I said earlier, you need to make sure that you only have 1 in your inventory. Okay, here's another example. This one is one that I have 2 of, Frog's Guts. We're going to see if we can duplicate Frog's Guts by dropping one first and then doing the same exact method we were just doing. So let's go in our inventory to the guts area, and we'll get the Frog's Guts. Here we are. Now we need to drop one of them. Now that that's dropped, I'm going to throw one, and this time do the same thing I did before. Drop one. There it is. Throw that one. And now you can see, even though I had to get one out of my inventory, I was able to do the same exact thing. Now this time I'm going to have to go to the back of my inventory just as I did before. And there they are, Frog's Guts. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing. Drop another and toss that one. Now I started with 2 Frog's Guts. Well, I'm already up to 3, as you can see. So these Frog's Guts are going to be usable just like the other one was, but even though we had more than 1 in our inventory, we just dropped in order to get down to 1 and then start our duplication, all right? Final tidbit of information, and then we'll do the step-by-step. This tidbit is about more than 20 items. So what if you need, like say, you're wanting to sell off a bunch of diamonds at once, more than 20. You just have to have more than 20. Well, what you're going to need to do is start with 1, like we said before, get down to 1 diamond, duplicate it up to 20 using the method that I just mentioned, okay? And then you can use an additional glitch using one of these gotcha machines in order to go beyond 20 items. Basically, you use the gotcha machine as like a bank. And so after you get your 20 items on the ground, you pick them up and you put them in the bank, and then you do another 20. And you pick them up and you put them in the bank, and you do another 20. And so you can have 40 or 60 or 80 or however many repeated times duplicating that you want to do of that certain item. However, it is dangerous for other reasons, which I'm not going to get into here right now. Well, really simply put, there's a chance to despawn some of those that you worked so hard to duplicate. And so what I'm going to do is not go over that method, and I'm going to put a link in the description below to someone that I trust that I think did a really good job discussing it, and I was able to duplicate that process. But it's just a little complicated, and I think for most of us, just duplicating up to 20 items is going to be sufficient, especially because you could take like your auto build and store this little machine here in your history, and then just build it anywhere on the map. And you could be duplicating items off a little diving board like this, right next to an inn or right next to a merchant that you're going to sell a bunch of diamonds to, you could just be selling them every time you get up to 20. And so there's easier ways to duplicate than having to use a machine to store up a huge number, okay? And so best of luck to you in your duplication method, and I hope that this was helpful. Now let's show you very quickly a step-by-step. Step 1, go to this device dispenser on the Big Sky Island. Step 2, create a simple ramp with these 2 pieces of wood, which you can find over there behind those boxes. Step 3, find an item that you only have one of that you would like to duplicate. For instance, this light dragon scale. Step 4, hold the item like you're going to throw it. Step 5, walk off while you're throwing it and open your inventory in the air and drop the item while you're falling. And as you can see, I have dropped one and I am still holding one. And so the next step would be to throw it, and now you have duplicated that item and made 2. However, in order to continue duplicating, you must always keep only one in your inventory and never go above having one in your inventory, or else the duplication will not work. All right, and there are 3 light dragon scales where I started with only 1. And so best of luck to you. I hope that this was helpful. Please leave a like or a comment below telling me more information or telling me how it went for you. And please share it with your friends, as I think this is a great way to duplicate items in Tears of the Kingdom. See you in the next video.